4 minutes of the majority's time.
Without objection.
Mr. President, yesterday afternoon, the House of Representatives passed the Farm Bill Conference Report by a vote of 318 to 106. The Senate will vote in a few minutes, and we expect to have an overwhelming majority in favor of this Farm Bill. I want to thank Senator Harkin for his great leadership, Senator Chambliss. It was a bipartisan effort, as well as Senator Conrad and Senator Baucus, all the members of the committee, and I want to take special note of my good friend, Representative Colin Peterson from the state of Minnesota, who showed such leadership in the House. Mr. President, America's farm safety net was created during the Great Depression as an essential reform to help support rural communities and protect struggling family farmers from the financial shocks of volatile weather and equally volatile commodity prices. Almost 75 years later, the reasons for maintaining that strong safety net are still there. The weather is still volatile, as we've seen this year. Crops are still subject to blight and disease, and farming is still a very risk-intensive business, as we've seen prices going up and down, recently down in Asia, as we've seen investment and speculation in the farm market. And I think it is very important we have the safety net as we look at our food security, so we don't get in the same place that we are with our lack of energy security. Wanted to mention a few things that are very important to my state in this bill: the sugar program, the dairy program, the conservation programs. I know we have people here in the gallery from Pheasants Forever. Our conservation groups worked very hard on this, the nutrition assistance. But I especially wanted to mention the part of the bill that I worked on, the cellulosic ethanol piece, which was really look to the next generation of biofuels, looking at prairie grass, switchgrass, other forms of biomass. As we look to, say, the country of Brazil, which is energy efficient, based on and energy independent, based on sugarcane, we can do it in this country. Now, I think we've got to go beyond our crop-based ethanol and look at some of these other forms of ethanol, and this bill creates the incentives so we can use energy crops like switchgrass and prairie grass and do it in a way that's consistent with conservation, which is why I'm so proud we have the support of the conservation groups that are with us today. Last thing I wanted to mention was that you know that I was a strong proponent for reform in this bill. I didn't have everything that I asked for, as Senator Murray was discussing. No bill is perfect, but we had significant problems in the last few years with a small number of people, real estate developers from Florida, art collectors from San Francisco, 100 people in the Beverly Hills 90210 area code collecting money. This bill does three things that are good. It eliminates the three-entity rule. It also the conferees have included substantial income limits for those who participate in the commodity program, $500,000 for non-farm income, and they're banned from getting the subsidies, and then third, $750,000 for farm-related income. Frankly, you can go a long way in Minnesota without ever bumping into a farmer that made $750,000 after expenses. The reform in this bill may not be perfect, but it's a lot better than where we were before. In conclusion, there are a lot of important changes in this bill, and there's a lot that's good for rural America. And the safety net is vital for not just our farmers, but for our entire security in our country. We have made important advances in conservation and much-needed improvements to our nutrition programs. Perhaps most importantly, this bill lays the groundwork for farmers to play an even greater role in our energy future. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.